You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote those words nearly 2,000 years ago. Think about that for a moment. In our fast-paced world of constant notifications and endless demands, how often do you feel truly in control? Or feel like modern life is stressing you out, pulling you in countless directions? It's a common feeling. Do you ever find yourself wishing for a switch? A way to navigate this chaos with a sense of calm, purpose, and unshakable inner peace? What if that switch isn't a fleeting trend, but an ancient philosophy that guided great minds through immense challenges? That philosophy is Stoicism, and today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to unlock practical, powerful tools straight from the Stoic toolkit. We're diving deep into 5 transformative practices designed to help you build that very fortress of the mind Marcus Aurelius spoke of. We'll explore mastering your control, using negative visualization for gratitude, intentional discomfort for resilience, seeing obstacles as opportunities, and journaling for self-awareness. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or becoming some unfeeling robot. Far from it. It's about understanding them, directing them, and ultimately, transforming your entire approach to life. It's about building a success mindset, a resilient spirit that isn't dependent on external validation, but on your own deep well of inner strength and wisdom. If you're ready to stop being tossed by life's storms and start steering your ship with clarity and courage, you're in the right place. We're about to embark on a journey to unlock your Stoic mindset, a mindset that can genuinely change everything. And hey, if this already resonates, if you're feeling that pull towards a more resilient life, do me a quick favor. Tap that like button, share this with someone who could benefit, and subscribe with notifications on. That way, you won't miss more practical wisdom. Your support helps this channel reach more people searching for these timeless tools. Alright, now that we're all set, let's dive into the first of these powerful Stoic principles. Ever found yourself replaying a conversation, stressing about what someone else thinks, or losing sleep over an outcome you just can't dictate? That knot in your stomach, that racing mind, it's exhausting, isn't it? We've all been there, caught in a loop of what ifs and if onlys. But what if I told you there's a timeless, incredibly powerful tool to cut through that anxiety, a secret weapon used by emperors and philosophers alike? This brings us to one of the absolute cornerstones of Stoicism, something Epictetus, a former slave who became one of antiquity's most revered philosophers, put so brilliantly. He said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us." Sounds simple, right? Almost too simple. Yet, truly internalizing this, living by this distinction, is revolutionary. Think about it. What is truly up to you? Your thoughts, not all of them perhaps, but certainly your considered judgments, your opinions, your choices. Your actions, the effort you put in, the character you display. These are your kingdom, your sovereign domain. Now, what's not up to you? Well, pretty much everything else. The weather, the economy, what other people think of you, whether you get that promotion after you've done your best, whether your flight is delayed. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, constantly reminded himself to focus on his own actions and judgments, not on external events or the actions of others. He knew that his peace of mind depended on it. When we try to control these external factors, we're essentially fighting reality, and that's a battle we'll always lose, leading to frustration, anger, and anxiety. The magic happens when you consciously shift your focus. Instead of worrying about the outcome of your presentation, focus on preparing thoroughly, on delivering it to the best of your ability. The audience's reaction, that's outside your circle. By doing this, you reclaim so much mental energy. You move from a state of powerless anxiety to empowered action. Your response, your interpretation, your next step, these are always yours. This isn't about being passive. It's about being incredibly strategic with your energy and attention. So, here's a practical step for you this week. The next time you feel that familiar twinge of worry or frustration, pause. Ask yourself, what part of this situation is actually within my control, and what part is not? Get a piece of paper, draw 2 columns, list them out. You might be surprised how much falls into the "not in my control" column. Then, for everything in the "my control" column, ask, what's one small, virtuous action I can take right now? This simple exercise, done consistently, can profoundly change your perspective and drastically reduce your daily anxiety. It's about directing your power where it truly matters. Alright, let's dive into something that might sound a bit counterintuitive at first, but stick with me, because it's a game changer for living a more grateful and resilient life. Think about your morning coffee, a loved one's smile, or even your reliable internet. How often do we truly, deeply appreciate these things before they're gone or just unavailable? It's human nature to get comfortable, to let good things fade into the background hum of daily life. The Stoics, those ancient masters of mental fortitude, had a powerful technique for this. They sometimes called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of future challenges. Now, that sounds pretty grim, doesn't it? But it's not about becoming a doomsayer or living in constant fear. Far from it. Imagine it more like a mental fire drill. You don't run fire drills because you want a fire, right? You run them so you're prepared, less panicked, and more effective if the unthinkable happens. And as a side effect, you appreciate the safety you currently have. This practice is about intentionally and calmly picturing life without some of the things you value most. Take a moment, think about something or someone dear to you. Now, just for a minute, imagine your life without them. What would that feel like? What would you miss? It's not meant to make you miserable. The real aim here is to jolt you back into the present, to flood you with gratitude for what you do have, right here, right now. It's like suddenly seeing an old, familiar painting in vibrant new colors simply because you imagined the canvas blank. This isn't about dwelling on potential doom. It's about cultivating a profound appreciation. Think of it like this. You don't truly appreciate the warmth of a cozy room until you've stepped in from the bitter cold, do you? By mentally touching the cold of potential loss, the warmth of what you currently possess becomes so much more vivid, so much more precious. And the bonus, you're building resilience. You're training your mind, like a muscle, to handle adversity. When life inevitably throws a curveball, and it will, you'll be better prepared, less shattered, because you've quietly rehearsed the possibility. You've acknowledged that everything we cherish is, in a sense, on loan. So, how can you start? Try this. Once a day, pick one thing. It could be your health, a friendship, your job, or even a simple comfort like your favorite chair. Spend just a minute or two imagining it gone. Feel the absence, then bring your mind back to the present and truly savor its existence. You'll find this isn't a morbid exercise. It's a powerful switch that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, fostering a deep sense of thankfulness and inner strength. It's about appreciating the bloom of the rose, knowing that all flowers eventually fade. Ever notice how a minor inconvenience, like your Wi-Fi dropping during an important call, can completely derail your mood? We've become so accustomed to comfort that even small disruptions feel like major crises. But what if I told you that the Stoics had a powerful antidote to this fragility, a practice that seems counterintuitive at first glance, deliberately seeking out small, voluntary hardships? Seneca, in one of his letters to Lucilius, wasn't just philosophizing from an ivory tower. He actively prescribed this. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Think about that. He's not saying to live a life of perpetual misery. He's advocating for periodic, intentional dips into discomfort. Why would anyone do this? Imagine it like a vaccine for adversity. By exposing yourself to a controlled, manageable dose of hardship, like a cold shower on a chilly morning, or opting for a deliberately simple, unexciting meal when you could afford a feast, you're building up your mental immune system. You're training your mind, much like an athlete trains their body. Epictetus constantly emphasized this kind of practical training, or ascesis, to fortify the soul against the unpredictable blows of fortune. The first major benefit is the cultivation of mental toughness. When you willingly step out of your comfort zone, even in small ways, you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort. That spilled coffee, that delayed train, they start to lose their power over your inner peace because you've willingly faced tougher, albeit self-imposed, challenges. You're no longer a delicate flower, wilting at the first sign of frost. You're becoming more like a resilient oak. Secondly, this practice systematically reduces your fear of future misfortunes. That condition that I feared, Seneca talks about. By experiencing a taste of it, by sleeping on the floor for a night, or fasting for a day, you demystify it. You realize that many of the things we dread are far more bearable in reality than they are in our anxious imaginings. The monster under the bed shrinks when you shine a light on it. And finally, paradoxically, these small acts of self-deprivation dramatically increase your appreciation for the comforts you do have. That warm bed feels like absolute luxury after a night on the floor. That regular meal tastes incredible after a period of eating plainly. As Marcus Aurelius might reflect, by occasionally choosing less, we come to value what we have far more profoundly, rather than taking it for granted. It's about recalibrating your baseline for gratitude. How often do you find yourself facing a roadblock, something that just stops you in your tracks? Maybe it's a tough project at work, a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or even just a day where nothing seems to go right. It's natural to feel frustrated, right? To feel like the universe is conspiring against you. But what if we could flip that script entirely? The Stoics, those ancient masters of resilience, had a radically different perspective. They taught us to view every challenge not as a misfortune, but as a test. Think about it. When you're in school and you face a test, what's its purpose? It's to see what you've learned, to push you a little, to show you where you can grow. The Stoics saw life's difficulties in exactly the same light. These aren't punishments, they are opportunities. Opportunities to practice what truly matters, our virtues. When that difficult project lands on your desk, it's not just a pile of work. It's a chance to practice wisdom in how you approach it, courage in tackling its complexities, and justice in how you collaborate if it involves others. When you have that tough conversation, it's an opportunity for courage to speak your truth and temperance to listen with an open mind. Each obstacle becomes a training ground. This is where that powerful Stoic idea, famously captured in the phrase, "The obstacle is the way," really comes alive. Imagine you're hiking and a huge boulder blocks your path. You could sit down in despair, or you could see that boulder as the way. Maybe you have to climb over it, testing your strength and agility. Maybe you have to find a path around it, testing your ingenuity and patience. The boulder itself, the very thing that seemed to be stopping you, becomes the means by which you develop new skills, new perspectives. The obstacle is the path forward. So, when a setback hits, instead of asking, "Why me?" the Stoic asks, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger, wiser, more courageous?" This isn't about pretending the difficulty doesn't exist or that it doesn't hurt. It's about reframing its purpose. It's about understanding that the very act of engaging with the challenge, of trying to overcome it with virtue, is where growth happens. That difficult client becomes your masterclass in patience. That failed attempt becomes your lesson in perseverance. You start to see that every stumble, every wall, is actually a stepping stone if you choose to see it that way. This is how we turn what feels like a defeat into the raw material for our future strength. Let's delve into a practice so foundational, yet often overlooked. It's akin to an ancient Stoic superpower, the daily ritual of writing and review. Think of it not as mere diary keeping, but as a strategic debrief with yourself, the CEO of your own life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, gave us a profound example of this with his meditations. This wasn't just idle scribbling. It was his personal wrestling with Stoic principles, an ongoing examination of his thoughts and actions. Similarly, Seneca spoke admiringly of the philosopher Epictetus, who, at the end of each day, would ask his soul, What bad habit did you cure today? What vice did you resist? In what way are you better? This disciplined inquiry wasn't for an audience, it was for personal refinement and growth. Imagine a master craftsman meticulously inspecting his work at the end of each day. He doesn't just glance at it. He looks for the subtle imperfections, the areas where his skill can be honed, the places where his tools might have been used more effectively. Your journal is your workshop, and your life is the masterpiece in progress. This daily review is where you examine the raw materials of your day, your thoughts, your actions, and crucially, how you applied Stoic wisdom, or where you perhaps faltered. Were your responses to external events aligned with what's in your control? Did you practice indifference to what is not? The benefit here is immense. It's like turning on a light in a previously dark room. Suddenly you see things clearly. This practice cultivates deep self-awareness. You start to see patterns in your behavior, triggers for unhelpful emotions, and opportunities for virtue that you might have missed in the rush of the day. Epictetus urged us to examine our impressions, to not let them carry us away. This written review is a structured way to do just that, after the heat of the moment has passed. So, how do you begin? It's simple. Each evening, take a few minutes. Ask yourself questions inspired by the Stoics. What did I do well today according to virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance? Where did I let unhelpful passions or external events disturb my inner peace? How can I approach similar situations better tomorrow? This isn't about harsh self-criticism. It's about constructive self-correction and steady improvement, the Stoic path to a more tranquil and purposeful life. So, we've journeyed through some powerful Stoic tools today. We touched on the dichotomy of control, the practice of negative visualization, embracing intentional discomfort, and the reflective power of journaling. Each one a practical instrument designed not just for philosophical contemplation, but for crafting a genuinely better life. But if there's one thread I want you to pull through from all of this, one idea to truly wrestle with and make your own, it's the profound Stoic art of viewing obstacles as opportunities. Think about that for a moment. How often do we see a setback, a challenge, a moment of friction, and immediately label it as bad? Our energy drops, frustration mounts. But what if, as the Stoics urged, we could reframe that? What if that very obstacle is not a roadblock, but a detour pointing us towards a strength we didn't know we had, a lesson we needed to learn, or a chance to practice virtues like patience, resilience, or creativity? This isn't about pretending difficulties don't exist. It's about changing our relationship to them. It's about asking, what can this teach me? How can I use this to become better? This is where the real work of Stoicism lies, beyond the reading and the understanding. It's in the application, so I invite you, right now, to consider an obstacle you're currently facing. Big or small, it doesn't matter. Can you look at it through this Stoic lens? Can you find the hidden opportunity within it? This isn't just a mental trick. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that can cultivate deep inner contentment, regardless of external circumstances. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to implement this one insight today. Pick one obstacle and find the opportunity embedded within. What obstacles are you reframing? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and build a community dedicated to living these principles. If this resonated with you, if you found value in our exploration today, please give this video a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future discussions on practical wisdom for a resilient life. Thank you for spending this time with me. May you find strength in your challenges and cultivate the tranquil mind you deserve. Until next time, keep striving, keep growing. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How true is that for you? In our hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel swamped by worries about what might be, or things we can't control. That sense of being overwhelmed by modern chaos, it's a heavy weight, isn't it? But what if there was a way to reclaim your calm? Ancient Stoicism offers exactly that. Timeless, battle-tested tools for building unshakable inner peace and resilience. not by avoiding life's storms, but by learning to navigate them with strength. Today, we're unlocking 5 powerful Stoic methods designed to transform your mindset and, ultimately, your life. These aren't just dusty philosophical concepts. They're practical strategies for thriving right now. We'll explore the cosmic perspective for broader understanding, negative visualization for gratitude and preparedness, intentional discomfort for building resilience, the game-changing dichotomy of control to focus your energy, and journaling for profound self-reflection. My promise is this: you'll leave with actionable wisdom you can use today for a stronger, more focused, and genuinely more peaceful you. Imagine navigating your days with quiet confidence, meeting challenges with composure, and finding contentment regardless of external circumstances. That's the transformative power of Stoicism, and it's fully within your grasp. If you're ready to trade overwhelm for empowerment and anxiety for inner calm, you're in the right place. Let's start building that unshakable you. And before we dive in, if this resonates with you, please help support the channel. A quick like, sharing this with someone who might benefit, and subscribing with notifications on ensures you won't miss future content aimed at living a stronger, more examined life. Your support means the world. Now, let's get started. Ever feel like you're drowning in an ocean of to-do lists, anxieties, and those little daily fires you'd constantly had to put out? Just one more email, one more meeting, one more unexpected bill. It's overwhelming, right? Your world shrinks down to just that problem, that stressor. But what if I told you there's a Stoic technique, a mental shift, that can act like a life raft in these moments? The Stoics, particularly Emperor Marcus Aurelius, practiced something often called the view from above. Imagine, for a moment, literally zooming out from your current situation. Picture yourself rising above your house, your city, your country, until you see the entire earth as a pale blue dot. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Think of the whole universe of matter and how small your share." When you adopt this cosmic perspective, something profound happens. Those seemingly giant problems, they suddenly appear in their true proportion, often much smaller than they felt just moments before. This isn't about dismissing your challenges, not at all. It's about reframing them. It's about seeing them against the backdrop of immense time and space. Seneca, another great Stoic, often reminded us of the brevity of life and the vastness of what came before and what will come after. This perspective helps to diminish the ego's grip, the feeling that your problem is the center of the universe. It fosters a sense of humility and, surprisingly, gratitude. Gratitude for this brief, improbable existence on this tiny planet. So how do you cultivate this view from above in your daily life? Try this. Next time you feel that pressure building, take 5 minutes. You can literally look up at the sky, or if you're indoors, close your eyes. First, visualize yourself. Then, slowly, mentally pan out. See your street, your town. Keep going. See your country, the continent, the earth. Then, expand further. Contemplate the solar system, our galaxy, the billions of other galaxies. Feel the immensity. Another powerful practice is to reflect on history. Think of the rise and fall of empires, the generations that have come and gone. As Epictetus might suggest, consider how many before you have faced similar or even greater trials and tribulations. Your current anxieties, placed on this grand timeline, often lose their sharp edges. This isn't a one-time fix, but a practice, a mental muscle you strengthen, and the more you practice, the more readily you can access this state, finding a sense of calm and connection to something far larger than your individual worries. It connects you to the human experience, shared across millennia. Alright, let's dive into a Stoic technique that might sound a bit counterintuitive, especially in our good vibes only world. It's called negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. Now, does that mean Stoics were a gloomy bunch, always expecting the worst? Not at all. Think about it. Do firefighters conduct drills because they want to fire? Of course not. They do it so they're prepared, so panic doesn't take over when the alarm bells ring. Negative visualization is your mental fire drill for life's challenges. So, what does this look like? It's about deliberately taking moments to imagine things not going your way. Picture yourself facing a setback, maybe losing a job, a valued possession breaking, or significant discomfort, like your AC dying mid-summer. The point isn't to wallow in misery or manifest negativity. It's about stripping the unknown of its power. When you've mentally walked through a tough scenario, if it actually happens, it's less of a shock. You've already considered, okay, what would I do then? This practice does incredible things. First, it builds resilience. It's like a mental vaccine. A small, controlled exposure to adversity strengthens your ability to handle the real thing. Imagine a boxer who only spars with weaker opponents. How prepared are they for a championship fight? By mentally rehearsing how you'd cope with loss or failure, you're training your mind to be resourceful and calm under pressure. What steps would you take? Who could you turn to? What inner strengths could you draw upon? And here's the beautiful flip side. This turbocharges your gratitude. When you consciously consider losing something you value, your health, a loved one, your home, and then you open your eyes and realize it's still there, that appreciation deepens profoundly. It's like coming inside to a warm house after imagining being caught in a freezing storm. Suddenly, that warmth feels so much more precious. So, how can you start? It's simple. Maybe once a week or for a few minutes each morning, pick one thing. It could be small, your favorite mug breaking, or bigger, a project failing. Imagine it vividly. Then, crucially, imagine your response. How would you adapt? What would you learn? And then, bring your mind back to the present and truly appreciate what you have right now. This isn't about pessimism, it's about robust, prepared optimism. We live in an age of unprecedented comfort, don't we? Climate control at our fingertips, food delivered to our door, entertainment on demand. But the Stoics, those ancient masters of resilience, would ask, at what cost? They understood a profound truth, one that might seem counterintuitive today. That actively, intentionally inviting small discomforts into our lives isn't masochism, it's a form of powerful mental training. Think of it like a vaccine for adversity. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, famously wrote about setting aside days to practice poverty. He'd eat the plainest food, wear the roughest clothes, and sleep on a hard surface. His purpose wasn't to punish himself, but to ask, is this the condition that I feared? By willingly experiencing a taste of hardship, he defanged its power over him. He learned that he could not only survive but maintain his inner peace even with less. This wasn't about rejecting comfort entirely, but about loosening its grip on our well-being, ensuring our happiness wasn't solely dependent on external conditions. So, how does this translate to our modern lives? It's about choosing, say, a cold shower when a warm one is available. Not every day, perhaps, but often enough to jolt yourself out of complacency and build fortitude. Epictetus might say this is training your will, your faculty of choice, to endure what is unpleasant without flinching. Or maybe it's foregoing that extra coffee or that dessert you crave, not because you can't have it, but because you choose not to, exercising your self-discipline. Each small act of voluntary discomfort is like lifting a mental weight. Initially, it feels challenging, maybe even a bit ridiculous. But just like an athlete building muscle through progressive overload, you're building mental toughness and resilience. You might also try fasting for a short period, under safe conditions of course, or simply eating very plain, unexciting meals for a day. This isn't just about physical discipline. It cultivates a profound sense of gratitude for the abundance we usually take for granted. Suddenly, a simple piece of fruit or a warm meal tastes extraordinary. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us to find satisfaction in simple things, these practices recalibrate our appreciation, teaching us that true contentment comes from within, not from endless indulgence. Start small. Perhaps it's just skipping your usual sugary snack, or walking instead of driving a short distance in slightly uncomfortable weather. The key is the intention. You're not a victim of this discomfort, you are its master, choosing it to forge a stronger, more adaptable self, ready for whatever real, unchosen difficulties life inevitably sends your way. Alright, let's dive into one of the most powerful, truly life-changing tools Stoicism offers us. It's called the dichotomy of control. Sounds a bit academic, right? But trust me, understanding this simple idea can radically shift how you approach, well, pretty much everything. Epictetus, one of the Stoic heavyweights, put it plainly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. It's that straightforward, yet profound. So, what falls into that up to us category? It's our thoughts, our judgments about things, our desires, our aversions, and most importantly, our actions. The choices we make every single moment. Think of these as your personal toolkit, the things you have direct, undeniable influence over. Now, what's not up to us? This is a big list. It includes our bodies to a large extent, like getting sick, our possessions which can be lost or damaged, our reputation that's largely shaped by others' opinions and external events. Think the weather, the economy, or how other people choose to behave. These are the things that happen to us or around us, but we don't hold the puppet strings. Imagine you're a gardener. You can choose the best seeds, prepare the soil meticulously, water diligently, and protect your plants as best you can. These are your actions, your efforts, clearly within your control. But can you control the sudden hailstorm that sweeps through? Or guarantee a specific number of tomatoes from each plant? No, those are external factors. The wise gardener focuses on their gardening efforts, not on agonizing over the unpredictable weather or the exact yield. They accept these external elements and adapt. This is where the magic question comes in, a question you should etch into your mind. Is this up to me? Before you pour energy, anxiety, or frustration into something, pause and ask, is the traffic jam up to me? No. Is my reaction to the traffic jam, getting angry, or using the time to listen to a podcast, up to me? Absolutely. Is getting that promotion entirely up to me? Not completely. There are other candidates, a hiring manager's decision. But is preparing my best, showcasing my skills, and presenting myself professionally up to me? 100%. By consistently applying this filter, you start to redirect your precious energy away from things you can't change, freeing it up for things you can. This isn't about being passive, it's about being incredibly effective. So, let's talk about a practice that might seem deceptively simple, yet holds immense power in our Stoic toolkit: journaling. But this isn't just any diary where you jot down what you had for lunch. Think of it as your personal philosophical logbook, a mirror reflecting your inner world, much like Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was for him, a private record of his struggles, his resolutions, and his efforts to live virtuously. This practice is a cornerstone for developing self-awareness. How can we improve if we don't first understand where we stand? It's like an athlete meticulously reviewing game footage. They don't just watch the highlights. They scrutinize every move, every decision, identifying weaknesses to work on and strengths to build upon. Your journal is your game tape for life. It's where you analyze your reactions to the day's events. Did you respond with reason and virtue, or were you carried away by passion or unhelpful impressions? Seneca, in his letters, often engaged in deep self-examination, and he advised Lucilius to do the same. He'd ask himself, what ailment of yours have you cured today? What failing have you resisted? Where can you show improvement? Epictetus, too, constantly urged his students to examine their judgments and impressions, the very raw material of our inner lives. Journaling is how we bring this examination out of the abstract and into concrete reality, helping us track our progress in applying Stoic principles and refine our character. So, how do you put this into practice? It can be as straightforward as an evening review. Before bed, take a few minutes to write down your thoughts, your actions, and what you learned. Ask yourself, when did I do well according to Stoic principles today? Where did I fall short? What impressions disturbed me, and how did I deal with them? Or you might prefer a morning preparation, setting your intentions for the day, reminding yourself of key Stoic teachings to guide your actions. The key is consistency and honesty. Treat this journal not as a judge, but as a compassionate coach, guiding you toward becoming the best version of yourself, the Stoic sage within. So, we've journeyed through 5 powerful Stoic methods today, from broadening our view with the cosmic perspective, to preparing for adversity with negative visualization, embracing intentional discomfort, understanding the dichotomy of control, and clarifying our thoughts through journaling. It's a robust toolkit, isn't it? But the real magic isn't in just knowing these tools exist. The true essence I want you to carry forward is that Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about understanding those feelings, interrogating them with reason, and then managing your responses through deliberate, consistent practice. It's building a mental fortress, brick by brick, not by ignoring the storm, but by learning to weather it with wisdom. This isn't a quick fix, it's a commitment to a way of living, a continuous refinement of your inner world. So, as we wrap up, my challenge remains: choose one method. Perhaps it's journaling for clarity, or practicing the dichotomy of control when you feel overwhelmed. Whatever you choose, commit to it this week. Don't just think about it, actively do it. Then, observe. How does it feel? What shifts, even subtly, in your perspective or reactions? Remember, true inner peace, that unshakable tranquility the Stoics spoke of, isn't found, it's consciously constructed. These ancient strategies are your blueprints, your guide to building that inner citadel. If this exploration resonated with you, and you're ready to build, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more journeys into practical wisdom. And I'd love to hear from you. Which method are you going to try this week? Share your choice in the comments below. Let's support each other in this practice. Your insights also help our community grow stronger together. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. Until next time, keep practicing, keep reflecting, and keep building that inner peace. May your week be guided by reason and virtue.